this is the happy ending. Great show. I've loved this. Every single second of this. We got to do this one quick because we got bills to pay. There's a guy out there. You might have heard of him. His name is Dan Bilzerian. Dan Bilzerian just made a ridiculous announcement. We're going to play the video. You're going to pull that up, Malik. Dan Bilzerian. When you think of Dan Bilzerian, join me, guys. What do you think of? What do you think of? It's in your head right now. When I think of Dan Bilzerian, you know what I think of? Monogamy. He's a one-woman kind of guy. Yeah, because listen to what he has to say, because he's basically saying now that monogamy is better than sleeping with thousands of women. Scroll down, there's a video. Serial Playboy Dan Bilzerian recently said on an episode of The Mighty Pursuit, it's a podcast, that monogamy is superior to a hedonistic lifestyle, a realization he has come to learn only after sleeping with thousands of women.
Wild.
Why? He calls, hold on.
Whoa.
He says monogamy is
The best way to
more fulfilling. They asked how much? How many women have you slept with?
Thousands.
Dog, I done lost count.
Damn.
He said, on average, he would sleep with 3 girls a day, and if he only slept with 2 girls a day, something was off. His most in one day was 9. We're gonna play the video, and then we're gonna have a final conversation, and we'll go for this. Go ahead, play this video, Mr. Malik.
On average, at least, at a minimum. I mean, like if I only had sex with 2 girls in a day, that was like, we're having some real off day or something, right?
Yeah.
And some days 4, sometimes
start
5, 7, the most was 9.
How many women have you slept with in your life total?
Thousands. I had this image in my mind when I was growing up of like how awesome this would be. I don't know, what I kind of landed on was I think it's like better to have a monogamous relationship, strange as that is coming from me. You've got 2 choices. You can just like do whatever you want and, you know, be free and like allow the women to be free and just use condoms with all the girls and not care about if they hook up with other guys and it's just like purely sexual and whatever. Or I think you can find a girl that you enjoy spending time with and that you actually trust each other. But I think it's unlikely to find a woman that is gonna be okay with you sleeping with other women that actually cares about you for the right reasons. Even if the girl is okay with it, I think that you like cause internal damage to her. I do think that like one cool girl that does stuff with you that you actually have a mental connection with, I think the sex is better. I think you're more relaxed. I think you have less things to deal with, less distractions. Your energy's not being pulled in a bunch of different directions. So I think there is hope to like longer term monogamy and like staying attracted to the woman.
Claps for him. Yay! All the girls. I'm sorry, the guys are
You know what's so funny to me?
Okay,
hold on.
I'm sorry, I got excited.
Why are you clapping?
Horrible video.
Because it's good to see people go through their life experiences and experience one thing and then be able to take those experiences and come to a different realization.
Okay.
And this is a realization that I personally agree with. So it's
Okay.
nice to see somebody who comes from that, having that lifestyle of having all this access to saying, you know, hey, like, you know, I'm coming to a point where, you know, I see the value in maybe just having one.
But you were like legit clapping, not like a sarcastic clap. wasn't it?
Yeah, but
Okay.
it's
And
because
hold on.
It's sincere.
Well, you guys all clap seriously, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, of
absolutely.
All right.
course.
I just learned something. You're happy for Dan Bilzerian. You know, 3 girls a day, 9 on a good day. Thousands of women. He's gonna practice monogamy. Let's clap it up for Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. Gentlemen,
Everybody has their
it's our turn now.
journey.
Some chick, famous, not famous, slept with 3 men a day, 9 on a busy day, says, guys, it's time for monogamy. What would our clap look like? Gentlemen,
it would be no clap. Like,
there's
all right.
no fucking
We'd be like, cool
clap.
story.
She's used up.
This is what our clap would look. This is what our clap would look like.
1.
You're a hoe.
Really, bitch? So we're
People want to hear what they want. They want confirmations to their
we're
bias.
identifying something that men
Yeah.
and women and sex and partners and body
Very
count
different. Yes.
might be different out there, guys.
Sounds
Clap it up. So, you know, it is different. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
But, you know, the hookup culture and the feminism would lead you to believe, ladies, why do we got a double standard? It's not. So the conversation that we're going to have, everyone's going to get a chance to answer. You know, a woman will sleep with a man who has slept with hundreds, if not thousands of women as a badge of honor. I slept with Leonardo DiCaprio.
She tamed him.
I slept with Andrew Tate. I slept with Hugh Hefner, Will Chamberlain, that 7-foot dude holding it down. Princes, sheiks, presidents, what have you. No man is like, I slept with that dirty ass hoe. She slept with thousands of guys. I'm honored. No guy thinks like that. Right, gentlemen? So there's a difference here. So, you know what you call a guy who has the ability to sleep with hundreds, if not thousands of women? What would you call someone like him?
A capable, accomplished man.
As high value dude as it gets. He puts himself in a position for all the victor goes the spoils, the luxuries of life, the yachts, the cars, the houses, and yes, the women. But a woman who sleeps with 3 dudes a day, 9 on a good day, 2 on a slow day, what are we calling her, Mike?
Whore.
Oh. Busy.
She's a porn star or a sex worker.
Yeah.
Probably.
We hear about the double standard all the time. Is this debate kind of over, Mike? Kian, weigh in on this.
Yeah, it's not a 1-to-1 ratio with men and women. But I'm gonna say I agree with what he said right here, you know? Like I'm good over here. You know what I'm saying?
You better.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
looking
I'm
at you,
good
dog.
over here, you feel me? So, nah, and I mean it. If she wasn't
Yeah.
here, I'd say the same thing. But one thing I don't relate to is, and I'm a man who have practiced polygamy, but never a hedonistic lifestyle. That's because it wasn't like he was talking about monogamy versus polygamy. Love is love, but he was talking about monogamy versus hedonism, 3 and 4 types of girls a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't got shit to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just
No,
fucking
he
all
has
day?
shit to do, Mike. Literally do.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I don't relate to that part. at
Gotcha.
all.
I know.
So you're not gonna clap for Dan?
Nah.
No. You notice it's so
I mean,
amazing.
everybody
all
say
the
cool
girls are
things.
so proud of you. All those guys are like,
Like, no shit, bro.
all right, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, Kian, you play in the NFL. You're a tall, good-looking dude. I'm sure you've had your fun. How are you processing this Dan Bilzerian coming-of-ages situation?
Well, first of all, is who the fuck would listen to him? Like, why would you listen to a guy that was addicted to ED pills? Like, like everybody hears that and thinks it's all sexy and glamorous, but like, he was high, and he was also taking a bunch of erectile dysfunction pills as well during the process of all that. So I also love what Mike said in regard to it not being a healthy representation of like a potentially healthy polygamous lifestyle, which I'm not saying I'm for or against, but we're talking about extremes here. So why would you listen to a guy that literally went to a whole other end, an extremely unhealthy end of the extreme, where he talks about where he's obsessed with talking to girls all the time, setting things up all the time. That's what he's spending all of his time doing, and obviously as a business as well. I just think it's a big risk and had a lot of success, which I'm not demeaning. But it's just like someone that's lived that wild of a life, I mean, there's got to be some deeper psychological things there that I would never listen to him when it comes to something about polygamy or monogamy.
But wouldn't you say also, this is also when you see people make certain decisions in their life, it's a way of you learning a lesson without going through it as well. So someone like that, you know, he's able to also give perspective of living a life like that, you know, that
fair.
temptation
I
does
disagree.
come.
No, I disagree. It comes down to the individual, absolutely. I think
comes down to the individual.
each individual has to be able to experience the other end of the spectrum, because there are a lot of guys that come from Christian households that are told that they need to show up in a monogamous relationship, and they show up in a certain way that actually ends up preventing them from fully showing up as the man they need to be, because they haven't allowed themselves to experience another end of the spectrum. So I would say, depending on where you're from, as far as how you were raised, you need to experience the other end of the spectrum to truly determine what it is that you want to do with your life and how you want to live.
For sure, but you also have to consider, though, you know, maybe, you know, I agree, people sometimes do have to experience certain things to
Life
realize
is
that's something
self-exploration.
bad, but you know, it's people like this that if someone's going through the things that he's going through, they can kind of look to him like that's kind of what my reality would look like. It's an example of if I keep making these decisions, that's kind of maybe the direction I would go. So as much as I would never listen to him, I think it's also something to consider, someone with that massive amount of success, someone with that massive amount of access, you know, making those decisions, whether you make it or not, you can kind of see this is maybe the way I'm going if I keep going this route. Now, depending on the person, listen, I'm someone's like, I gotta try myself to know what's up. That's how I am. And no matter if it's this is what my life is gonna be like or not. So there's gonna be, you also don't wanna be so like avoidant of these things, because you can go down a path that you don't need to go down when an example is right in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I still wouldn't deter someone that has a desire to go down that path to not. I think it's not up to me or anybody else to try to make sure someone doesn't make mistakes. I think life is about experiences and being willing to explore areas of life that we truly have a desire to explore. Sure. But I would ask anybody that does desire to go down that path, I'd say, well, what's your motivation for it? Why do you want to do that? Where does that come from? And really understand that at a deeper level. Because sometimes it comes from a place of really desiring to do that because that's just who they are. And maybe they want to do that. Maybe they will. But other people, maybe there's not a legitimate reason behind it. But I think it's very important
By the
to
way, I
understand
think
that.
we just found out what Kian cares about, y'all.
What?
This topic.
Okay.
Okay.
Got some meat in there.
You know what it is? He's like, what do I care about? Body count.
Yeah.
What do I care about? My man cares. Real quick before I give a little final thing. Why did you clap for Dan Bilzerian?
I agree with Nat. I think growth is a beautiful thing, even if you can't relate to it, or
Yeah.
even if you disagree with it. To see someone grow as a human being and change their perspective or their idea about something that obviously he felt so strongly about, because his whole lifestyle was that was his brand, you know, for a really long time.
So it only took him a couple thousand girls to grow up.
I mean,
Respect,
What did you
Dan.
say, Mike?
some
You
of
just
us
said
Hold on,
grow
something.
faster
though.
than
Hold on,
others.
I'll come back in a
but-
sec. Flo, why did you clap for Dan Bilzerian?
Yes, it's great that he got to learn his lesson and now he's on the right path.
Yeah.
But evidently, making that decision, how much damage did he cause to himself and to other people? Because guess what? And I mentioned this the last time I think that I was here, which was
Yeah.
months ago. But when you sleep with someone, it's a spiritual transaction. So it's not just like, okay, you're getting the job done, I'm good, I'm
Right.
gone, bye.
That's why the girl screams, oh God.
Stop
Yeah.
it.
Speaking of God, you're a Christian conservative.
Yeah.
Even you, who's saving yourself till marriage,
Yeah.
clapped for Dan Bilzerian.
As in clapping for what I already knew, which is monogamy is it.
Okay.
It's the best way. It's God's way. This is how I see our Father, God.
Yep.
I see if you're a good father, you will put parameters for your children. If you know that if they jump off of dock and they don't know how to swim, they're young, they could die. So you put parameters in place to protect your child that you love. So when you have sex, you're becoming one with somebody. It's sacred. It's a spiritual transaction. So that's not meant to be a recreational sport to be had with all these people. And you're also protecting yourself, your heart, your mind, because there is a chemical bonding that's happening. It's not just spiritual, it's scientific.
Right.
Chemical bonding is happening when you're having sex with somebody. Neurotransmitters are like passing through and you're becoming one with a person. That's not meant to be with a bunch of people, and then you're saving yourself
Especially
from getting
thousands.
diseases, from getting unwanted pregnancy. Like, there's so many benefits to waiting. And so he just proved the fact that God is right. Like, it's not a good idea to have sex with a bunch of people or to treat sex as a casual recreational sport.
Well said. Guys, she's single. You want to hold you?
28.
Saving yourself to marriage, Christian, conservative, 28-year-old virgin?
Yes, I grew up in the church. That's what we do. Like, that's
Guys,
what we wait till
give a
marriage.
shout out. Plug yourself.
Claps for Dan.
Where can you? Where can they find you?
No.
Stop it. Your DMs are
You're
You're gonna be like, let me clarify.
We gotta get
Amen.
Day of his man. She wants a good man, Christian man,
He's
a
gonna be
low
at
body
church.
count man. Praise the Lord.
Amen.
Jane, my
Oh my
homegirl,
gosh.
my Miami friend. Why did you clap for Dan Bilzerian?
I mean, there's so much to dive into this topic, and I'm so passionate about it. But I will say, and I have to agree with you about the transaction of like spirits when you are. I think, you know, having sex with someone is the most intimate thing I think you can do. Well, there's different intimate things, but I think that it's so important, especially women. You know, we're so powerful, and not in a seductive way or a way to manipulate men, but in a way to give yourself to a man, to love him, to nurture him, to care for him. So I think that, you know, as a woman, you should be very selective with the person or somebody that you're sleeping with or taking care of, essentially. And as a woman doing that, you know, a man should also be as selective. Like if you're out there, you have money and all these things, you should be very selective with who you're bringing around you and who you're allowing your soul to connect with. So that's why I clapped for him, because I think as a valuable person, everyone's valuable, but I think you should be very careful with who you are giving your energy to, and that's what I'm huge about.
Well said. It's my homegirl, Jane. By the way, before I even answer Amy this question, round of applause for Amy. She, 2 hours.
I need to go so
bad.
I'm in so much pain right now.
By the way, do you want to answer the question or do you want to go pee?
I'll answer the question real quick. So
why did you clap?
The reason why I clapped is because I actually agree with like a lot of what the red pill says, but I do think they take things to the extreme oftentimes. And you do hear a lot of guys purport that any man who has the option to have multiple women is always going to go that route. It's only the men who don't have the option who are going to succumb to monogamy. And I think that sometimes you need to achieve these things. Sometimes you need to make all the money to realize money isn't everything. Sometimes you need to screw all the ladies to realize that screwing ladies isn't everything. So, you know, I think that it's good, mostly for what Nat said. It's the example that it sets to some of these other men. And now we have a case study for these extremist red pill guys to be like, hey, well.
There you go. I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
You want to wait 1 minute before we wrap up?
I'll do it. I'll wait.
Clap it up for Amy, y'all.
Go, Amy.
So, I'm gonna give.
I can't promise I'll do it next week.
I'll give my little spiel, and then I want the guys to plug everything they want to plug. Here's what I want. Look, as a born-again virgin, I want to tell you guys what I'm thinking. I encourage all men to test drive as many cars as possible.
No.
That's my opinion.
Make sure you got insurance. Make sure you got insurance on your car.
Have insurance. Hold on, y'all. Test drive as many cars as possible. I mean that in a multitude of factors. Because there's a difference between somebody like Dan Bilzerian saying, hey, monogamy, when you bang 2,000 women, and some 21-year-old kid who's trying to get laid, he's like, yeah, thanks, Dan. Let me go do what I got to do for a hot minute, and then I'll take your advice maybe in like 10 years. And that comes to women, that comes to drugs, that comes to experience, that comes to partying, that comes to cars, that comes to houses. You know, until you learn for yourself, no one's taking advice from Dan Bilzerian in this regard. Everyone wants to learn from themselves. By the way, ladies, don't test drive too many cars because then you're gonna put a little miles and a little tread on them tires. And we just established that nobody's clapping for the girl who's like, I'm a monogamy girl now.
You don't want
after
slick
2,000
tires.
girls.
No slick tires.
No. We want our thing. 100%. Because we know one thing is true, that women are judged by their past and men are judged by their future. Facts. Nobody cares when 2,472 slept with Dan Bilzerian. She's like, I don't know, he slept with her. They knew exactly what they were doing. So it's one of those things. At the end of the day, a woman and a man, when they get married, a man marries a woman hoping she won't change, and a woman marries a man hoping that he will. And it ain't gonna happen, Cap'n.
Whoa. If you like that one, click right here to watch the full SOSCAST, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.